Don't you think we are actually being controlled by the government or by companies and businesses in this world? And this is what I want to delve into. Hey beautiful people, and welcome back to Divulge Talk Show. Welcome back to another Thursday Thoughts video. My name is Mabandi and welcome. So just in case you are probably wondering what Divulge Talk Show is about, this is a platform that I created that equips and elevates us as young people. So this is whereby we just have conversations basically about anything and everything, no restrictions, and the goal is just to inform people, educate people, and just to create an environment whereby we can have conversations, especially topics that are considered taboo by society. One of these topics is modern day slavery. So just in case you were thinking slavery doesn't exist, it actually does. So obviously the definition or the concept of slavery when it comes to 200 or 400 years ago is different from slavery from today in 2023 or in the 21st century. So of course probably there's still chains and shackles and people being shipped, especially if we look at human trafficking and all this kind of thing. But slavery in the olden days obviously comprised of people being bought and sold to and from other countries, to and from other continents, and obviously people were living in an agricultural setting, in a farm setting where they would do agricultural work or anything like that and not get paid. I mean, even though they had food and shelter and clothing, that did not change the fact that they were slaves, because when it comes to slavery you don't have a choice. You just do what you are told to do, and it is those that are benefiting, because when we look at slavery, it's obviously one person exploiting another in order for him or her to benefit, and in most cases it's to accumulate profit or to make money. Okay, so that's what modern slavery is about. So you can call it modern day slavery, or you can call it slavery in the 21st century. And this is how it looks like. This is when people are being treated as if they are property. So what is modern slavery or modern day slavery? Modern slavery is when one person controls another for profit by exploiting a vulnerability. Usually the victim is forced to work or is sexually exploited, and the trafficker keeps all or nearly all the money. The control can be physical, financial, or psychological. So I'm just gonna list some of the examples of modern day slavery, and I'm not going to talk about them today because I already have another perspective and another viewpoint that I want to touch when it comes to this topic. So human and sex trafficking, forced labor, debt bondage, descent-based slavery. This is when someone is actually born into slavery, child slavery, forced and early marriage, and then domestic servitude. Those are just examples. If you want to look at it, you surely can. However, I want to talk about two types of modern slaveries that I felt are not actually being spoken about, because I remember doing my research and that's all I saw was about human trafficking and early marriage, and I was just like, don't you think we are actually being controlled by the government or by companies and businesses in this world? And this is what I want to delve into. So we are slaves to the government, right? To the government or any other entity, organization, or institution that is attempting to apply pressure and forcing us to do what they want or forcing us to do something. So this is an evident thing on our day-to-day lives when we decipher everything that is happening. Let us take a look at the coronavirus pandemic. Everything that happened from the beginning to the end, from stay indoors, get sanitized, wear a mask, get vaccinated, literally the government enslaving us. I do call that enslavement because we are literally being told to do. We didn't have a right, or we didn't have a say. We're not even allowed to suggest anything. It just felt like, oh my goodness, this is happening. And this also involves these organizations like the public health and all those kind of things. But anyway, I'm going to delve into businesses a little bit later into the conversation. So everything that happened with the COVID-19 is an example I believe can open your eyes, and you can actually see that, you know what, we are actually being enslaved by this government. It feels like when the government asks us to jump, we ask how high, right? So obviously the goal of the government is to suck out some cash or some money or to profit gains from us, and they use that money in which way they want, especially in an African setting. If you are from Africa, you know what I'm talking about. Corruption is like people were literally born corrupted, and our leaders or the government, that's all they do, corruption, and they do not cater for the needs of the citizens and all those kind of things. It's very different from Western countries, whereby you can tell that in as much as they probably are enslaved by the government, but there's some sort of good life or some sort of I don't want to use the word freedom, but there's just some kind of stability. Whereas in Africa, it's just corruption. The government is squandering the money. On top of that, they tell us what to do. They enslave us and. So let us look at the United States for a minute. Everything that has been happening to black people or people of color has involved the government, and it has shown how the government just doesn't care. I mean, when we look at the government, the agencies and the law enforcement, they have done nothing to stop white police brutality. Instead, people of color have actually become enslaved by this so-called system, and they've been now enslaved by death and suffering. It's just all comes back to the government. Modern day slavery. So let us look at large and well-established international organizations. It doesn't have to be international, but it can also be national organizations, especially these established businesses that are just well known in the world, in your country, that kind of a thing. They have also played a role in enslaving people, right? For example, when we look at how we are global citizens and we have companies that we look up to, you apply for a job, you're working there, and then there's abuse and violence in the workplace. And sometimes you cannot speak out because you are threatened. I can give an example of health institutions whereby they have doctors and psychologists and nurses, whereby let's just say that health institution has a tendency of just killing people or poisoning people so that they can gain profits from insurance companies or from people in general. And let's say you're a doctor, a psychologist, and you really feel that this is bad and I need to report this. You then get threatened, and then they tell you that we're going to cancel your license, and then you will not be able to work anywhere in the world. That is another form of violence or abuse, whereby you are now enslaved by this company. Probably you're not even allowed to leave because they are now thinking if you leave, you probably expose us. That kind of a thing. And it is happening today, whereby people are just enslaved by their bosses, enslaved by these businesses, and especially these well-established businesses. They've got the money to buy lawyers, to bribe the judges in the court or the police, all those kind of things, to hide all the bad things that they're doing. And then we all come and we are all under all this mess, and we are just slaved. We're just doing what they tell us to do, etc. Another thing I wanted to touch is when it comes to digital marketing and businesses. So these days we've got influencers, digital creators or content creators, whereby businesses actually come and talk to these people, be like, yo, please advertise our products or services on your channel or on your social media platform. We're gonna give you, let's just say 50,000 rand just for one post or whatever that is. Okay, so this might sound like this child is actually talking crazy stuff, conspiracy theories, especially with the COVID-19, etc., etc. But when you really look at it, people are actually being enslaved. The so-called public figures. I say this because you are getting paid 50,000 rand to advertise a candle brand, whatever it is. I don't know, any example. After you have done that, because you have a great following, you've got an engagement, you've got people that have subscribed to your social media platforms, they are going to make large amounts of money. So you get 50k to market to this company's product or services, and then eventually in the short term or in the long term, this company shoots and makes millions in a year or something like that. You have been enslaved, you have been used in order for them to benefit. Remember I said that slavery is all about the other person benefiting. So it's exploitation coming in a fancy way. I know that we need to make a living. If you're a content creator, I'm not saying what you're doing is bad. And if you feel like you need to advertise on Divulge Talk Show, child, please, I am open to it. But like I said, it's just my own opinion. It's just my viewpoint of how I see this whole modern day slavery thing going on. And it's just like a fancy way of being exploited, a fancy way of being told what to do by companies and businesses and the government. That's how I see it. For example, YouTube. I think YouTube is one of the most well-established international organizations, right? It is bowling. Like, the company has got money. Millions of businesses are advertising with YouTube. Thousands of people are content creators on YouTube. Let's just say people have, okay, not even let's just say, people have a great amount of following, a great amount of subscribers, likes, the engagement is amazing. Obviously, businesses are gonna rush and want to advertise with YouTube, and YouTube, knowing that if we are able to gain from these businesses and gain from this content creator, it will make billions of dollars, and you are just there doing what you do. I know it comes from a place where people love what they do. You being a YouTube content creator is a calling for many of us, and it's something that you love. I love sitting down and talking. I don't want to sort of say I am bashing YouTube or bashing content creators or bashing businesses, but I'm just trying to give you guys a perspective that modern day slavery exists, and this is the perspective I wanted to give it to you guys. Because when we talk of modern slavery, people are talking about human trafficking, which is true, child abuse, people being forced into early marriage, which is something that is happening in the world, and perhaps maybe I was supposed to talk about that. But I also felt like there's another side of modern slavery that people are not really emphasizing or unpacking or divulging, that kind of a thing. So this is basically everything I wanted to talk about when it comes to modern day slavery. In fact, this is like I said, it's something that I have seen or analyzed, and I just felt like, why not talk about it? I could be wrong. Everything I've said, I don't feel like I'm really wrong, but I feel like in case you've got something else to talk about, or something else to add, or something else that you feel like I don't know, whatever, just comment your thoughts below. I really don't know what I'm saying, I'm just rambling, but this is everything I have to say concerning modern day slavery. If you have watched till this end, I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe. Just click the red subscribe button, and I really appreciate it. Comment your thoughts, comment your topics, whatever you want us to talk about on this show. And thank you so much for those of you who have been subscribing. Thank you for those of you who have been sharing the channel. I really appreciate it. So until we meet again in another video, see you guys next time, and goodbye.